You won't believe what happened when a young man, the son of a black cleaning lady, boldly declared, "I speak 9 languages." But when an Arab millionaire laughed in his face, thinking he was just another servant, he had no idea what was coming next. What happens next will shock you and prove that no one is ever truly invisible. If you're part of the Black Visionaries family, smash that like button right now and hit subscribe because you're about to witness a story that will blow your mind. It was the grandest gala in the city, a night where wealth, power, and influence mingled under the sparkling chandeliers. The venue was a lavish hall, with polished floors that reflected the light from crystal glasses filled with the finest champagne. The who's who of the Arab elite had gathered, each dressed in designer clothes, flaunting their extravagant jewelry and perfectly tailored suits. This was the world of millionaires, where dreams were built on high-rise towers, and power was measured in bank accounts, not kindness. Among the sea of guests, one person stood out, but not for the reasons you'd expect. His name was Youssef, a young man dressed modestly in a worn-out suit that didn't quite fit him. He wasn't here by invitation, not technically. He was the cleaning boy, one of the many hired by the staff to keep the venue pristine. He had been told to stay out of the way, clean up the spills, and not to speak unless spoken to. But Youssef had a secret, one that no one knew about, one that was about to change everything. Youssef's mother, Amina, was a cleaning lady who had worked in the mansion of an Arab millionaire named Khalid for over a decade. She had cleaned his house, served his family, and scrubbed every inch of his luxurious estate. But despite her unwavering loyalty and tireless work ethic, Amina had always been treated as invisible. Khalid never noticed her beyond the occasional polite nod, as if she were just another part of the background, someone who existed to serve and be forgotten. But her son, Youssef, was different. From a young age, he had observed his mother's resilience and determination even when society tried to erase her. Youssef had inherited that fire. He was intelligent, driven, and determined to rise above the circumstances of his birth. Amina had always encouraged him to study hard, to speak well, and to never let the world define his worth. And Youssef had done just that. He had learned 9 languages by the age of 19. It wasn't just English or French that Youssef spoke fluently. He could communicate in Arabic, Spanish, Mandarin, German, and even some obscure dialects spoken in small villages across the world. His knowledge of languages was his ticket to a better life, his way of proving that despite being the son of a cleaning lady, he could be more than what the world expected him to be. That night at the gala, Youssef had a secret mission. His mother, Amina, had been tasked with cleaning the mansion for the event, but she was too ill to do it herself. She had sent Youssef in her place. He didn't mind the work, after all, it paid well, but he was determined to take advantage of this rare opportunity to network and meet people who might change his life. As he worked his way through the event, scrubbing tables and collecting empty glasses, he couldn't help but overhear the conversations around him. Millionaires, businessmen, and politicians discussed deals worth millions, but it was all so distant to him. No one noticed the boy in the corner, wiping down the countertops. To them, he was just a faceless servant, invisible and insignificant. But that was about to change. It was near the end of the evening when Youssef saw him, the man who would change everything. Khalid, the Arab millionaire, stood in the center of the room, surrounded by a group of other wealthy individuals. His eyes scanned the crowd with a calculating gaze, sizing up potential business opportunities. He was tall, with a perfectly groomed beard, wearing a dark blue suit that seemed to shimmer in the light. He was the epitome of power and sophistication. As Khalid moved through the crowd, his gaze landed on Youssef. The young man was wiping down a nearby table, his eyes focused on the task at hand. Khalid walked over, his expensive shoes clicking against the marble floor with every step. "Hey, you," Khalid said, his tone casual but laced with an air of superiority. "What's your name?" Youssef looked up, surprised to be spoken to by someone so important. He straightened up, trying to mask the nervousness that crept up his spine. I'm Youssef, sir. I'm helping my mother tonight," he said, his voice calm but firm. His Arabic was flawless, a gift from his mother who had always taught him to speak with dignity. Khalid raised an eyebrow. "Your mother? The cleaning lady?" "I see," he chuckled, a dismissive sound. "So, what are you doing here?" Cleaning up the mess? Yusef didn't flinch. He was used to people looking down on him, judging him for his background. But this time, something inside him stirred. The anger he had buried deep down for so many years began to bubble to the surface. I'm cleaning, yes. But I'm also here to learn, Yusef said, his voice gaining strength. I want to be more than just the son of a cleaning lady. I want to build my own empire one day. Khalid laughed, a loud, mocking sound that echoed through the room. You? Build an empire? And how do you plan on doing that? With your mop and bucket? Yusef's heart raced, but he didn't back down. Instead, he stood tall and said something that would shock everyone in that room. I've studied hard, and I can speak to people from all over the world. I have skills that go beyond cleaning. I'm going places you can't even imagine. The room fell silent for a moment. The laughter stopped. People exchanged confused glances, unsure of how to react. Khalid's smile faltered for a second before he regained his composure. 9 languages? Khalid scoffed. That's impressive, boy. But it won't help you. You're nothing more than a servant. That's what people like you are meant to be. But Yusef wasn't done. You'd be surprised, sir, he said. I'm more than just a servant. And one day, you'll remember the boy who spoke 9 languages when he changes the world. Khalid's face flushed, a mix of disbelief and irritation washing over him. The laughter that had once filled the room was now replaced with uncomfortable silence. The moment passed and Khalid moved on, but Yusef's words lingered in the air, leaving an indelible mark on everyone who had witnessed the exchange. Khalid had underestimated him, but Yusef wasn't going to let it slide. He had made a promise, not just to Khalid, but to himself. As the weeks passed, Yusef's life began to change. He didn't just focus on his studies, he took every opportunity to improve his skills. He practiced his languages, taught himself business strategies, and networked with anyone who would listen. Every person he met was a potential connection, every conversation a chance to show his value. Meanwhile, Khalid went about his life as usual, dismissing Yusef's words as nothing more than the dream of an ambitious young man. But in the back of his mind, something nagged at him. He couldn't shake the image of the young man who had spoken with such confidence, someone who wasn't afraid to challenge him. Then, one fateful day, an opportunity arrived. It came in the form of a multinational business conference, a high-stakes event that would bring together the biggest names in the industry. Khalid was scheduled to speak, but a last-minute issue arose. His translator had fallen ill, and he was left scrambling to find someone to fill in. That's when his assistant, a woman who had been working with him for years, suggested an unlikely candidate, Yusef. The name caught Khalid off guard. But his assistant explained that Yusef had been learning business communication and had recently attended a networking event where he had impressed a number of high-profile entrepreneurs with his language skills. Khalid, still skeptical, reluctantly agreed to meet with Yusef, never imagining that the boy who had once been invisible would now have the chance to shine in a room full of influential business people. When Yusef arrived at the conference, he was nervous. This wasn't just any event. It was a chance to prove everything he had worked for. He had studied every word, every phrase. He had rehearsed until his tongue was tired and his mind was sharp. But standing in front of Khalid and the other attendees, he still felt the weight of his mother's sacrifices and his own ambitions pressing down on him. The moment arrived. Khalid took the stage, and Yusef stood by his side, prepared to translate. As Khalid began speaking in Arabic, Yusef flawlessly translated into English, French, and then Mandarin. His voice echoed through the room as he moved from one language to the next, effortlessly connecting with the diverse audience. At first, Khalid was silent, watching Yusef with a skeptical eye. But as the minutes passed, something shifted. The crowd responded. They were impressed, captivated by the young man's fluency and poise. He wasn't just a servant. He was a man of power, a bridge between cultures, and Khalid could feel it. When the event ended, Khalid pulled Yusef aside. His face was no longer one of mockery. It was one of respect. You were impressive, Khalid admitted. I never thought I'd see the day when I'd be proven wrong. Yusef smiled, knowing that his time had come. Months later, Yusef's life had transformed. He was no longer the cleaning boy at the gala. He was a respected entrepreneur, known for his language skills and business acumen. He had built a network of powerful connections, including Khaled, who had become one of his biggest supporters. Yusef's rise wasn't just about his languages or his ambition. It was about the belief in his own worth and the courage to challenge the expectations placed on him. From the son of a cleaning lady to a man who spoke to world leaders, Yusef had proven that no matter where you came from, you could change your destiny. And as for Khalid, he had learned a valuable lesson. Never underestimate the quiet strength of those who seem invisible. They may be the ones who change the world. Hey, if you're rolling with the Black Visionaries family, you already know what to do. Smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell because we've got more powerful, jaw-dropping stories coming your way you won't want to miss. Stay inspired, stay strong, and remember, your dignity is never up for debate.